Okay, so this is where I feel like we're going to be talking about a lot of controversial topics. So I think it's time to finally move into the story of the game. I broke it down into like specific things that we could talk about because obviously, Kingdom Hearts is a story-driven game. There's a lot of things to talk about, so I kind of broke it down so we sort of stay on topic and like it doesn't get too insane. So we could talk about the pacing of the story. So that just basically means that the pacing of the Kingdom Hearts 3 was you go to Olympus, right? Then you go back to Yen Sid. You figure out what you have to do. You have to find the power of waking so you could reawaken the other Keyblade warriors. Yeah, and then basically just you go to all the Disney worlds. Okay, that's fine because that's a Kingdom Hearts game. But then everything kicks in. So the issue that I had and a lot of things that I've been seeing online, and I don't know if you guys agree, but the fact that, and I think we mentioned this briefly, was like the fact that there was no midway point of the game at all. Like it was basically just Disney worlds, Kingdom Hearts stuff, and so like, how did you guys feel about that? Like, were you okay with it? Did you not mind it? Did you wish there was sort of like, because I mean, obviously after every Disney World, we got a cutscene that was like, 5 or 10 minutes and added some stuff to it. There was no real like climax midway point where everything turned around and like, I don't know.
Yeah, everything happened at the end.
That's basically it.
Everything happened at the end. And I felt like it could have, like, they could have added certain, like, cutscenes or other things like to do with it, or have you go back somewhere and like have a story develop, because you don't even go back to like Twilight Town to like really see what Ienzo is doing. That kind of doesn't really get like talked about. He sort of is just like, hey, like I'm trying to figure this out still.
Yeah, I feel like a whole like little arc with Ienzo where like we wouldn't even have to go to Radiant Garden, where like at least if he's just like, oh hey, I opened up an access waypoint in Twilight Town, like go to Data Twilight Town, that would have been the Radiant Garden.
Yeah, and you just leave Pence in the fucking mansion to rot for the entire
like stuff like that.
But he has the password though, it's okay.
Yeah, but then like I mean, and then there's just things where like when we saved Aqua and stuff, and that entire sequence could have been put right in the middle, where like that could have been the midway point where like they don't even have to add anything, like just that entire sequence where like we're playing as Riku, we get bodied, and then Sora flies in, and then we save Aqua. That entire thing, if they put that in between, probably like right before Arendelle or maybe after Arendelle, that would have felt like, okay, like we're kind of working our way towards the end. But the issue with putting everything at the end like that, it made, and I'm, we all obviously admitted to it, it makes you rush through the games. You don't want to explore. You're like, I just want to find out what happens kind of thing.
We waited so long. We just want to know what happens. We want to, especially that the trailers were so revealing to so much of the story that we were just so like, we need to know what happens, we need to know what's going on. So it's like you really do want to rush and find out what happens. I mean, I definitely enjoyed the fact that each world could have a really good cutscene after it, but I felt like there was no like mid climax and an actual climax, which is the big part of this discussion right now.
Yeah, because like they've said, people have been saying like online, like in Kingdom Hearts 1, you go to Traverse Town, you get Kairi back or whatever, and then like there's that whole little like, hey, like let's regroup and all that thing. In Kingdom Hearts 2, like I said, there's the Thousand Heartless battle, there's that thing where you fight with like Cloud, Leon, Tifa, like, all those people.
And you find out like that killing the Heartless is like helping them.
Exactly.
And there's like that's a huge plot point that you find out in like the middle of the game, and that kind of makes you're like, oh, holy shit, like. It makes you almost not want to fight them like at first afterwards, but then you're like, nah, I gotta gain levels.
Yeah, and like it kind of lights a fire under your ass. We're like, hey, shit's serious. But like I feel like with Kingdom Hearts 3, and this is like to put it in the most blunt terms possible. Basically, Yen Sid tells you to fuck off and find the power of waking in these Disney worlds for absolutely no reason, And then like that's it.
Disney.
That's true. We have to make a note of that. Yen Sid spelled backwards is Disney.
I think spelled backwards. Oh, wait, they're already gone.
True.
Yo, I'm so glad that Yen Sid came out of his tower.
Bro.
Like,
that was like some
spoilers.
Yeah,
that was like some Thor and Ragnarok type shit. Like,
yo, that was so epic.
We could talk about that with like character development and stuff. Yo, but like but a moment where like Yen Sid swoops into action, like if that was in the middle of the game, that would have been awesome. Like like that, like a sequence where like Yen Sid shows up and fucks shit up. Like that would have been really cool in the middle of the game, not at the end where everything else is. So that's kind of like where my issue is with like the pacing of the story, where like I feel like it was just sort of like sectioned off too strictly. Obviously, you know, there was the in-between cutscenes between worlds and stuff like that was cool, but there wasn't that defining moment. Like all my favorite moments are after Big Hero 6. All of them. Every single one of my favorite moments are beyond that.
Whoa, are you kidding me, bro? Bro, Vanitas going through a door.
Yo, but like, okay, so you
really are.
Yeah, okay. So I guess, you know, but I'll say like 90% of my favorite moments and best reactions to the game were after Big Hero 6.
That's fair.
You know,
well, I mean, I feel like maybe the reason is since it was a game that was the end of a saga.
Yeah,
that they really wanted to kind of have the big reveals all together and like kind of try to make the climax as epic as possible by doing everything.
Yeah, like they wanted it to be a long experience, like the end of the game where there's like a lot going on, like a lot of shit going down. So I could understand.
Yeah, I understand that too. And I feel like, you know, again, like you said, when it comes to like Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 and all the games before it, like there was plot building material. With Kingdom Hearts 3, the plot is pretty much established already. Like what more could you really add? Like if anything, you just push the story further. And not to say like they haven't pushed the series further throughout the game, which like they did. And obviously when you read the secret reports and stuff, you find out that all those like cutscenes, the little breadcrumb trails with everything, it's all huge. But like with the first playthrough, you're going through blind and stuff. There's not more that they can really do to make the situation that you're in more urgent. You know, you already know what you have to do type of thing. So putting it all at the end like that, like I guess that it worked. It's just, you know, there are specific things that they had at the end that they could have worked into like throughout like the Disney worlds. Because again, like, I mean, I guess one could argue like, oh, it could take away from the magic of the Disney worlds. But again, I think the fact that I was rushing through the game because there was no story and I really want to know what was happening, ruining the magic of the Disney worlds for me. So I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's kind of like what you were saying about it lighting a fire under your ass and being like holy shit midway through the game. Like that doesn't really happen. Like there's a few cutscenes like in between worlds that are like, oh wow, but you don't really get much that's like holy shit. Like I can't not that I couldn't. That I put the game down at all because I beat the game within 3 days, but I feel like that those kinds of things are what keep people like not able to like stop playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there wasn't. I mean, like there were a couple cutscenes in between where like, you know, it caught me by surprise. Where like that whole thing where you know, it's Demyx, Larxene, Marluxia, and Luxord in the Keyblade Graveyard, and Xemnas reveals that not only like Marluxia and Larxene, but Demyx and Luxord are a part of the Union Cross universe too. Dude, that was flame. Like I almost said flames again. Dude, that was
you did.
But like that was a moment, like that was a cutscene. That was a moment where I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. You know, I'm not just running through Disney worlds. Like there's a huge plot going on right now. Like that was a moment where I was like, oh my God, like this is something new. This is something crazy. Like, you know, so like I just wish there were more of those moments where like it took me by surprise.
Yeah.
Like that was oh my God, like woof, big woof.
Woof.
Okay.
That was fire.
So basically the pacing could have been done better, but it was done in a way that it could have been done.
I think if it wasn't the final game of the saga, I would have a bigger issue with it. But the fact that it was, you know, the conclusion to the Xehanort saga, if that's what we're gonna call it.
And the thing is, like,
I feel like that's the only reason it's forgivable.
If that was the last game and that was the pacing, I would have been furious. Basically,
you would have been furious just because it's the last game of the series in general.
Oh, 100%. But, you know. Okay, so pacing. Let's move on to characters, character development, character significance. I'm cracking my knuckles for who I'm going to talk about, but, you know, one of you guys can, like, lead this discussion. But, like, what did you think about character development and importance and, like, all that stuff?
I mean, before we get into what we're going to get into, because I know you're going to roast Kyrie, probably. I want to talk about Master Xehanort a little bit.
Okay, I'll go for it.
I feel like I need to know more about him, and I'm kind of upset that you didn't learn more about like how everything happened in the beginning, about his like younger days. Like it's never really talked about, like about, you know, what happened with Xehanort when he was young, and you know. Yeah. How, like, you know, they talk about it a little bit, but it doesn't really tell you like how he got obsessed with Kingdom Hearts, like how he got like corrupted.
You're right.
I think what it is like there's this tremendous gray area with the game where like people have to remember like this isn't the last like saga. Like I feel like obviously Xehanort's not going to be the villain anymore, but I feel like Xehanort as a character will be referenced until the end of the game, because I feel like especially if you read the secret reports and stuff, like you obviously know that like Xehanort had to have been sort of coerced or something happened with like, you know, Lushu and that whole thing where like he became who he was. But like I agree where like, you know, they're foreshadowing the whole, you know, young Ericus, young Xehanort playing chess and Skylet Kylum. It's like, okay, but like what happens between then and the guy we have now? It's been foreshadowed throughout the series before, not just in this game. Why was that not touched on a little bit more?
Yeah, it's like you go from like 18 to 20-year-old Xehanort. It's like, oh, this man is 80 and now he's evil.
It's like, what the fuck happened?
What Lego did he step on that made him so pissed?
That's what I'm saying. You know, like exactly. And you know, like I said, with Xehanort, like it's kind of a sticky situation where like, obviously again with the epilogue and everything that happened with that, and we find out that whole thing. It's just sort of like, it's hard to explain more without giving away what's going to be happening in the next game. So,
I feel like that's actually a really good point though, because I feel like it might have something to do with something that we don't know yet.
Exactly. Like I said, the door is left wide open right now.
There's still plenty of things we don't know. You know that. You know, I was kind of hoping, stupidly of course, that we would be answered all the questions we've had, and like we would start fresh with like Kingdom Hearts 4 or whatever title comes next in the series. But you know, we still don't know what's in the black box. We still don't know what happened to Xehanort to make him become like, you know, what he was. There's still so many odd things left open, which I thought was kind of cool. You know, but at the same time, like I really wanted to feel like completely like 100% like no questions at the end of the game. Kind of like cool.
Yeah, you're a fool. You're a fool. I was a fool. I thought the same thing.
I don't feel like I all my questions answered, but at least some of the ones that have been building up for a long time that I feel like could have been answered.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that we could just talk about this like briefly since it's on the list. The overall theme of like resolution when it comes to like having our questions answered. Like, how did you guys feel the story wrapped up in terms of like, did you find out the things that you wanted to find out? Like, did the theme of resolution stand out to you, or were there some things where you were just kind of like, eh?
I mean, for me personally, the biggest thing I wanted to know is what happened with Aqua. Especially after we got that trailer that she was Norded.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, you know, that was my biggest thing. I wanted to find out what happened with Aqua. I wanted to see the Birth by Sleep trio come together, you know, in full again. And to be honest, like during playing the ending, I wasn't really sure if we were going to get Terra back. But, you know, I thought that was a phenomenal, like, I thought they handled it very well. And I was very, like, you know, I was hyped. I was happy. I was on zero sleep. But, I mean, hey, I thought it was great.
Absolutely.
I think that some and this goes back to how everything was kind of at the end. I feel like some characters were almost kind of like brought back too easily, I guess.
Oh yeah,
I agree with that. I mean, where did Roxas come from?
He came out of fucking nowhere.
You know, where, like, how is Xion back?
Yeah, no, even more so about like Xion. Like, I mean, like it does make sense, and like there is a reason for all of it, but I feel like they don't really make it like a. You know, because Roxas came back because they had a replica for him, and you know, it's like Ienzo and Pence must have figured out like how to get like his data and everything.
Hater kicked him back into his body.
But I feel like it could have been like a more pivotal point. Like it could have, you know, there could have been like more work that you had to put in to get him back. It just seemed like it was like, you know, easy and all laid out.
Yeah, okay, so like this is something that I guess we could talk about because it is talking about like character development, like characters' importance and all that stuff. Like the whole concept with vessels and stuff, they took such a shred, like a fraction of a story element from a game that was considered quote unquote a side game with people like from Chain of Memories and stuff, and they made it this big fucking deal in Kingdom Hearts 3. And like,
well,
but like, I mean, they're like, how else can we explain these characters' returns? Like, I feel like it was just really like, first of all, fan service. Second of all, it was just really convenient. Like I felt like a lot of like, but I love it, you know. But like I have to critique it. So like it's just one of the things where like I feel like a lot of things in this game were just convenient. It was too convenient.
Well, yeah, I mean, because think about it, they've you know, after how many games in the series and so many crazy things have happened, and they got to resolve everything together. So they're like, how do we bring Roxas back? He needs a body. It's like, oh wait, did we do that thing in Chain of Memories or Riku replica? It's like, let's bring that back and just make everyone that we need let's just make them replicas. And it's like, it's problem solved right there. It's like and I feel like it's better to use stuff that we know already because, you know, especially as a finale to a saga, it kind of brings closure so much better.
And honestly, I think it would have made me happy if not everyone was able to come back. If there was some sort of tragedy still present. Because I feel like it was...
I thought that was going to happen with Terra. I didn't think Terra was going to make it back.
Yeah, no, it's the same here. I didn't think he was going to make it back either. And I kind of would have liked that. Like, I get it, like, that it's sort of like, I don't know, that it's like a Disney game and it's like, oh, you know, nobody really dies like forever, like, but I mean, except for, you know, Ericus, except now that he has, you know, Force Ghost. But
isn't it funny that it's fucking Mark Hamill that voices him? Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah. Oh my god, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
That's
dude, fucking
really
got Luke
funny.
Skywalker fucking Force ghosting in Kingdom Hearts. It was crazy.
Yeah, you are right about that. But I feel like they definitely like had some characters come back too easily, and I think that they could have left like a sense of tragedy there with certain things. Like I feel like certain things like could have been left the way they were.
Yeah. And then something else, since we're talking about all the different characters and stuff, I'm very, very firm and okay with the concept of like Kingdom Hearts being Sora's story. So like I get it. But is it just me, or did Sora make every motherfucking character in this game look like a bitch? Nobody had a moment, nobody did anything crazy. Everyone got their fucking ass beat and Sora saved the day. I just, to me, like, someone who loves Aqua, Riku is my favorite character. Like, Sora made them look like they've never touched a Keyblade ever. So, like, my issue is just sort of like, I feel like Sora was too much in this. You have to remember, Riku is a Keyblade master. Ventus and Terra are, you know, they're basically, you know, they're of the same caliber as Aqua. Aqua just has the title, but Aqua is like this grand master who's supposed to be all powerful, all knowing, and like, you know, they all got smoked. Like, especially that scene with like Terranor and how he bodied everyone. Dude, everyone looked like a punk in this game. I think that Sora just made everyone look like a fucking punk. And
yeah, especially at the end of the game, because I really felt in the beginning, like it felt like Sora kind of had lost all of his power, and it felt like when I saw Maleficent and Pete and Olympus, like I was actually like, oh shit, like these guys are actually a threat because Sora lost all of his power. You know what I mean? Like I actually felt like they could have been like a much bigger threat to him, but by the end of the game, it sort of seemed.
Oh my god! So before I yell about Kairi, I gotta yell about Pete and Maleficent since you mentioned them. Why the fuck were they in this game?
To remind people that they're still here.
But they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like they could have maybe just shown up at the end because it is kind of important. Like, I feel like they're going to have a very pivotal role to play, but I just don't know why they didn't in this game.
They didn't do
like,
anything.
I feel like they just definitely could have.
And I hate that the trailers hyped them up. And they didn't do anything. And obviously that's going to be one of the things that I talk about when I get to Kairi, but like Pete and Maleficent, it's like, bro, that they could have been absent from the game and I would have been happier because I'm angry that they were in the game because they fucking did nothing at all.
Well, I think the main reason they wanted to keep them in the game is because they were a really good way to keep the box relevant, especially people who don't know anything about the box. But they're a way to keep the box relevant, kind of keep it the fact that to remind people that Pete and Maleficent are still a thing, and to also as a way, since it is the final chapter of the saga, to be like, hey, everyone's here.
Yeah, so that's something else to keep in mind. So like they did need to keep everybody there and stuff, but like again, I feel like Pete and Maleficent, like again, they just did nothing. Like they were looking for the box, they kept failing. But like the thing is, they weren't even failing in every world. It was only like 3 of the Disney worlds where they showed up. Like they should have
found like Pandora's box and Hercules, Davy Jones's box.
I thought that was kind of funny, to be honest.
Yeah,
they kept finding like the wrong box. Like I thought that was kind of hilarious.
But the thing is, like, if they showed up in every single Disney World and kept getting dicked by the wrong box, then I would have been like, okay, like they're the comedic relief. Like it's kind of funny because Maleficent's super serious, Pete's hilarious, and the fact that they keep showing up and they're fucking up and they're not finding the right boxes. If that was in every Disney World, then I would have been fine with it. But it was only I feel like the developers like forgot about Pete Maleficent, and they were like, "Oh shit!"
Also, what
we can put
about
him in.
like they definitely could have done something with them, like finding Pandora's box, and they definitely could have made something very relevant out of that.
And that's that's a very good idea, because they could have found these incorrect boxes and had been the sub villains of each world, and like with Pandora's box, that whole thing. If like say in Pirates, if they found the heart of Davy Jones and then they summoned like this giant fucking Kraken Heartless type of thing. Like just anything to do with them, like with that type of stuff, like that could have worked fine. But they just had little to no relevance at all.
Yeah.
They interacted with Sora, like, I think only in Olympus, right? Were they in Big Hero 6? No, they only interacted with Riku. They didn't even fucking interact with Sora.
Yeah.
So it's just the lack of interaction between them and Sora, plus their significance to the plot. Like, I feel like there's just more they should have done with Pete Maleficent overall. But them showing up in the epilogue, like, that's fine, but... we'll get to that when we talk about the epilogue.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think overall Pete Maleficent just shouldn't have been in the fucking game. But anyways, they had to be. So, drum roll please. Fuck Kairi. Worst.
No, fuck crabs.
Worst fuck crabs. And fuck Kairi.
Fuck crabs, fuck Kairi.
Yo, she's made of crabs, bro. Dude, fucking Kairi was the biggest goddamn disappointment in this entire game.
All that training.
Dude, look, okay, Lee swings his Keyblade. Lee gets bodied and he takes it. Kairi doesn't even get bodied. She gets kidnapped. She doesn't swing her Keyblade.
Honestly, they didn't have to give her Keyblade. I thought, like, that whole, like, oh, hey, give Kairi Keyblade. Like, I thought that was like, oh, great, everyone. It's like, you make everyone super, no one's super. It's like, okay, you're taking away from the magic, and then it's like, and she did nothing. It's like, well, that was pointless.
And there's something that, like, someone made, like, a meme on Twitter where, like, remember in Kingdom Hearts 2 where Belle gets captured by Xaldin and she just, like, elbows him and runs away? Kairi had a Keyblade. She's trained with a Keyblade. She's trained to fight. And Zenith just snatches her up, and it's like, all right, bye. Just bye.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about Kairi, because I agree with you that, like, it was stupid, like, that she literally did nothing. But throughout the game, I thought her relationship with Lee was actually really cool, and that was one thing that I thought was like really cool about her. But she was kind of like, other than that, was pretty much useless.
Yeah, because again, the thing is, like, dude, the build up with Kairi was fine. It was awesome. I actually loved the cutscenes with her and Lee. The entire concept of her training to be a Keyblade Master was really awesome, and I love that because everybody has been saying for years, myself included, I want Kairi to do more. And then there's that whole thing where, what was I gonna say? The Palpu fruit scene on Destiny Islands. That was probably one of my favorite moments in the entire game, where her and Sora finally got to share a Palpu fruit. Like, Kairi was, and she's even like, no, let me keep you safe. That whole exchange. I'm like, bro, Kairi is gonna be doing some Riku shit. Like, sacrificing herself for Sora. Something cool is going to happen. Nothing cool at all happened with Kairi. It ended in the most disappointing way I could possibly even imagine. Ugh.
Yeah. No, I hear it, especially when you point that out, that she said that and then did nothing.
Yeah.
It's pretty upsetting.
Like, that's sort of it. Like, if Kairi did nothing in the game, that's fine. She's done nothing in every single game. But it's the fact that she was advertised in trailers and just built from the ground up from the beginning of the game that she's going to be kicking ass in this game. I'd be like, okay, like the fact that, like, even if she died in a heroic way, like maybe she sacrificed herself for Sora, that type of thing, whatever, like
that would have been great. Yeah,
that would have been fine. Like, there's actually, like, you guys played FF15, right?
Yes.
The end, like, I think there's like a secret ending or whatever the hell it is, but like when Luna like is saying bye to Noctis and she like disappears or whatever, if there was a scene like that in Kingdom Hearts 3, where, like, Kairi, like, literally gives up her heart for Sora, or something like that, that's fine. Or if Sora was going to get snatched up, but Kairi steps in, that's fine. If there was some sort of, oh, she was being heroic, I would have been like, okay, then that's, she did a good job. But everything got erased, she looked like a little bitch, and she got snatched up, and then she got bodied.
Yep.
And that was it.
It was like, it was like, oh, great. I guess they just wanted a reason to bring her.
Yeah, and obviously they set it up for the whole Power of Waking thing, which, okay, we could talk about that, because that's very important to the story, because from the beginning, that's the premise, where, like, Sora needs to master the Power of Waking and all that stuff. I'm fine with the Power of Waking. I don't understand it. It's fine, whatever. But you know how it's dropped throughout the entire game, like especially with Young Master Xehanort, which I thought was weird. But it was cool. Where like if you use it incorrectly, what happens to you? Like they don't flat out. Yeah, they don't flat out say though, like, you know, what happens. And, you know, we can sort of like segue into like the ending of the game where like clearly what's implied is Sora went to go find Kairi. Okay. He used the power of waking incorrectly because he's a fucking idiot. And he died. So clearly if you use the power of waking to go seek hearts rather than awaken them, you die because that's what's implied. But why was that not explained? Like, you don't have to show us what happened. You don't have to explain in further detail what's going on. Why was that not explained? What are the consequences of the power of waking? Like, all that jazz.
Honestly, like, my personal opinion is the ending really annoyed me for the fact that this is a conclusion to a saga.
Right.
So I feel like to leave that door open as much as they did as to what happened to Sora, I felt like that was just, like, wait, what? Like, that should have been, like, the first trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4. Like, that
exactly.
Kind of thing. Or something to, because, like, but just, like, that very last scene kind of left me all, like, you know, everyone's happy on the beach. They're all there. Everyone's there. I'm like, this is great. And it's like, oh, wait, Sora and Kairi here. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, Sora's gone. It's like, oh, well.
Also, that kind of, like, killed the whole, like sort of power behind like Kairi like being bodied right there and like Sora like wanting to go find her. It's just like it was literally the last 2 seconds before the credits and I was just like, what?
Yeah.
I was just like I was like literally confused. I was like, was that just supposed to be like symbolic or was that like what's going on?
Yeah, and that's sort of the thing where like, look, Kingdom Hearts never explained shit. So I get it. You know, like, it's all about theorizing, it's all about guessing, it's all about, you know, what's gonna happen next. The thing is, like, dude, if they explain, like, all Mickey had to say in one line was, Sora, if you use the power of waking it correctly, then you could lose your heart. You could die. You can fucking do anything. Then that would have been fine. I would have been okay.
That was a really
because then you would understand what happened to him. Like, oh shit,
yeah.
use the power of waking.
I would have been fine. I would have been fine with
yeah,
it. Like, but like, they didn't explain it. So it's like, what the fuck? Oh my God, I don't know. It's such a big issue I have with it is like, dude, if you want to end it in a weird way, end it in a weird way. But if you don't give us context, then it's like, we're just grasping at straws, you know? And that's sort of what the magic of Kingdom Hearts really is. But like, you know, I don't know if it's because we're getting older. It was the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 and it was just weird and it was annoying and it was confusing. Like, you know, I don't know what the heck it was. The power of waking needed explanation. You know, it's this big, crazy thing. It's the whole point of the game, you know, for Sora to master this. Like, why is it not explained for us at all?
I mean, the way I see it, it's almost kind of like it's sort of like one of those cheesy things where it's like, oh, the power is you, like you've had it the whole time, like it's in your heart, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I know this is like a really weird example, but have you ever seen Kung Fu Panda?
I actually have not.
Nope.
I can't.
All right. Well, all right. There's this scene at the end of the movie. I'm sorry, Kung Fu Panda spoilers. I mean, coming in. But there's a scene at the end of the movie where he needs to learn how to use the power of like the Dragon Warrior or whatever. And there's a scroll that's like sitting on top that like teaches you how to use it. And he gets the scroll at the end of the movie when he needs to defeat the big bad. And on the scroll, it's just a reflective piece of paper, like of gold paper. And he's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And all you see is like his face in the reflection.
Huh.
It's sort of like that thing. It's like the power is within you, like to be strong-willed and have a strong heart kind of thing.
Exactly. But the thing is, like, the game doesn't explain the consequences.
I feel like Yinsen should also have known that the whole time. Like,
why
instead
didn't
of being
he
like,
say it?
you like he's acting like you must obtain it, like it's an ability you're gonna get from a boss.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to the whole concept of the Disney World. Sort of felt like Yinsen, Sora, fuck off and learn this. I don't know anything about it. We just know you need it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the power of waking just needed explanation, like did. And I mean, we can sort of just grasp at straws and like figure it out and theorize, but like, that's if it's such an important part of the game, like time travel. Time travel was fully explained. It's complicated as hell, but it's explained. That was a huge thing in DDD. But the power of waking is like time travel, like that concept where it's like, ooh, something we need to know about, and we just don't know anything about it whatsoever, to a point. We don't know enough about it. So it's just one of those things, man, where I was just like, dude, explain what happened. I don't need to know what happened. Just explain the concept of, or the consequences of what happened with this.
Anyway, we should get back into character development, though, because we did get quite off track, because there were a few more things.
Yeah, we're kind of going into like ending territory. So I guess we could sort of just talk about the ending. So like I'm classifying the ending as like I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess we could sort of say like the ending can be like Skull-Eyed Kylam like forward, because we could talk about the things that happened like in the Keyblade Graveyard, because it's in that weird point where it's like that's not the ending. That's sort of just like late game type of stuff. We could just talk about our favorite moments later, because I have a whole section where we could talk about that at the end of the whole story thing. But okay, so the ending. So basically just Skull-Eyed Kylam like forward. How do you feel about just like, or maybe even just like Master Xehanort's defeat onward? We'll talk about that. So how do you feel about like Master Xehanort's defeat and stuff?
Why do we have to go underwater? That's what I want to know.
That was fucking stupid. I think they needed to put that in there so we could see Daybreak Town underneath it.
That's fair. That's fair. I thought, the after, the story was, it was like there was so many levels to that boss fight that I felt like it was a good way to do it.
Oh yeah.
I thought the story was great. There was good. Every trio had a conclusion, which was important. I felt like that was like the biggest thing about this saga.
Exactly. And I mean, I did like the whole reunion of everyone.
I feel like they did those specific trios like a lot of justice in those cutscenes, like the Sea Salt trio, like where they were all like crying. Like I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, we can even just talk about the Keyblade Graveyard and like all that shit. Fuck
so
it. We could talk about that stuff. So basically, like I loved like the organization fights. Those were like, especially how like you were fighting with the appropriate people against the appropriate Seekers of Darkness. Like that was so well executed. Like it's mind blowing, honestly. Like I thought that, how you're fighting with Ven and Aqua against Vanitas and Terranort, bro, that is literally everything that I have ever wanted in this game. Like that was
the only thing that bothered me about that was that I felt like I shouldn't be able to do that kind of boss fight. Like I felt like they were a little too easy to the point where, like, if I'm fighting 3 organization members that gave me trouble like on their own at one point, like throughout the series, like how am I kind of like keeping up with 3 of them and winning this fight? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like, and that goes back to like the difficulty where like, especially like the end game stuff, I didn't really die. Like I think I died in the Caribbean with the ship thing. I died with whole fuck crabs. I died with the whole like with the Heartless Storm thing, when you have to shoot we have to keep pressing triangle to fight the giant tide with like the help of the Keyblade wielders like thing. I died because I was trying to find my name because I'm an idiot and I didn't know you could dodge. And then I died in the underwater section because
You got your name in that?
No, I didn't, and I was sad.
Oh, did you actually look for it though?
I did. No, but the thing is, I was looking for it. I think I just finished exporting the episode, and I'm probably gonna post it tomorrow, where I'm sitting there and I'm literally like watching the fucking game, like I'm looking for my name, and I didn't realize I was taking damage, and I fucking died. So like, it was funny. And then and then I died underwater when fighting Xehanort. That's it. The difficulty of the game, I wish the battles against the organization members were a little difficult, like a little bit more difficult. I thought Xehanort himself was an appropriate difficulty. Like I didn't struggle. I didn't really, feel like it was hard.
Yeah.
But like,
honestly, like while I was fighting like Xemnas, Ansem, and young Xehanort, I'm like doing it. I'm like not having an issue. I'm thinking to myself, why am I like? I feel like I should be struggling here. And it was so funny because like I was playing it in a room with my other friend. He had his own TV set up, his own room. We had a whole Kingdom Hearts room, but he was fighting. He did Xemnas, so he had Xemnas last, and he was like he was determined to summon the Meow so that he could crush him with the Meow. He's like, Xemnas, this is what you deserve.
Exactly, and like that was something I was talking about when it came to like attraction flow and all those situation commands and shit. Like, I feel like they shouldn't have been accessible within those fights at all, or just boss fights in general. Like maybe Heartless boss fights, it's fine, but like organization boss fights, like there was no business. I should not have been able to ride a fucking water raft and body Vanitas. Like that was just stupid, But I don't know, man. That's just sort of the way that I looked at it.
Yeah, and the scaling of like certain bosses was like a little bit weird because for some reason Saïx was just so much like stronger than all the or like minus Xemnas, Young Xehanort, and Ansem. He was like much stronger than literally everybody else for no reason.
Yeah, there was a clear power difference between like a lot of the organization members, which sort of like it sort of just represented though, sort of just was like, oh, you know, like Luxord and like Marluxia and Larxene are like inferior to like Ansem and Xemnas and, you know, just like stuff like that. So like I thought it was kind of cool. I just thought overall the fights were just wicked easy. You know, like they weren't challenging.
Yeah, I'm with you. It felt like you didn't really have the time to really like process what was going on in the fight. You were kind of just like around and attack everybody, like fuck everybody up. Like it just seemed like a big fuck fest. It didn't seem like a very like calculated battle at all.
The only thing that I felt was calculated was sort of just like, you know, like I said, how you fought Terranort and Vanitas with Ven and Aqua. You fought, you know, Xion and Saïx with Lee and Kairi. Like I thought little stuff like that was just beautiful. Perfect.
Yeah, no, that was really cool for sure.
Like 100%. So like, you know, I loved those fights. And like especially like the cutscenes that followed. Bro, I cried like 4 or 5 times throughout playing the entire game. When Aqua, Terra, and Ventus get reunited, that broke me. It absolutely broke me. Like, you know, how like Terra's like looking at Ven and he's like, you found me, like, you know, I knew you'd be here for me, like all that stuff. And his eyes are like red and he's crying. Dude, oh my God. Broke me. Absolutely just snapped my soul in half.
Also, can we talk about the whole Guardian thing for like 1 second?
Yeah, no, talk about it. That's endgame stuff. Let's do it.
Because I feel like Terra was like the Guardian like for the whole time.
You've really thought that the entire time?
Well, no. I mean, I thought that beforehand, but like now, like after seeing that, like people were saying, like I definitely think that even in Kingdom Hearts 1, like with Ansem and the Guardian, like Terra, that was Terra. That you were literally fighting Terra and Ansem. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I think that's sort of it because like
that was the thing. They think that like, oh, it's like he just like came out of he was just in like that Guardian or something. And I'm like, yeah, what are you talking about? He was definitely there that whole time, and I thought that was like amazing. Like that blew my mind.
There's a video that was posted like 8 months before the game came out, and I didn't watch it. I just saw that it popped up. And it was like, he literally said, he's like, Terra is the Guardian theory. And I was like, damn, that bro fucking got it right. And I bet my money on it. And like, again, and I didn't watch the video, like I swear. But I bet my money on it that he made some sort of theory. You know when like Birth by Sleep, when Xehanort took him over, the Heartless, you know, was his heart. So like it was sort of like him still being attached to his body type of thing. And like the first time in the Kingdom Hearts timeline where we see the Guardian is when Terranort, you know, becomes a thing, when Xehanort possesses, you know, Terra. When you fight him as Aqua in Radiant Garden and stuff, that's when you see him. So like it all makes sense. And like I thought throwing that in there was like a beautiful touch. Like I thought it was great.
Yeah, no, you are right about that too. I haven't thought of that before too. That makes it even more mind-blowing.
Yeah, it just makes sense. It's like little things where I'm like, how did we not see this? How did we not figure this out already? You know, why was that such a shock? It was crazy. And when he rips the tape off his mouth, and I was like, bro, oh my God, like that was so cool. Like I thought all those fights, all those cutscenes, you know, the resolutions and all that stuff. Like, you know, when Xion and Roxas came back, like Roxas shows up and he's just like talking shit to Xemnas. Like, dude, oh my, like all those scenes were sick. So sick.
Dude, I thought it was kind of funny when Lee got fucked by Xemnas.
Oh yeah, he got absolutely.
He was like, "Is this a Keyblade or is it some sort of joke?"
Yeah, like,
dude, I was just like, "Holy shit!" Like Axel literally or Lee got fucked.
Yeah, no, dude, for real. So like, you know,
like Xemnas just called his shit out. He was like, "You fucking like fucked up our plans more times than I care to count." Like it was just so badass.
Yeah, no, seriously. It was like I said, all those battles, all those like cutscenes were just absolutely just beautiful and so well put together. I was emotional. Even like, dude, I fucking hate Xion. Like I don't hate Xion, but you know, I think her as a character, the story doesn't really need. She's just in there to be a cute little fucking like girl or whatever. Even her return, man, like when she just like is like stepping forward and like crying and stuff, dude, I was about to bawl my eyes out.
Yeah, no, I think they did her There are a lot of justice there in those cutscenes. Like I said, the whole ending sequence was everything that I ever dreamed like the end of the game would be.
Oh, like when Don't Think Twice starts playing and stuff? Or Hikari. It's like right after Sora fucks off.
No. About like literally just from the Keyblade graveyard, from the vessels onward, like all the cutscenes, like
yeah.
Like everything there except just the fights were too easy.
Yeah, that's basically all it is. Like when it comes to like the boss fights and stuff, I thought all the fights were like wicked easy. But like the story, the resolution, then like even like beyond like Xehanort's defeat and stuff, I thought everything was just everything I wanted. The only thing that I have an issue with, and I talked about this in my video when I talked about the ending, it's actually a huge issue, is I thought that Xehanort giving up was just stupid. Like,
yeah, it was so out of character.
Right? Oh, Tim, you're still here. I thought you fell asleep, dude.
Oh no, I'm running on like zero sleep. But the thing is that like he's been this like a super driven dude throughout the whole fucking series.
Yeah.
And it's just like correct me if I'm wrong, but we never really knew about like why he was doing what he was doing.
Like we sort of did. We just don't know where he really got the idea from, you know?
Like we knew his intention, like his base intention, but we don't really know why he wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like
up until the end, I guess, apparently. But it was weird because it seemed like a flip-flop, because before it seemed like he thought there was too much light in the world, but apparently that wasn't true. It was because there was too much darkness and he wanted like a balance, but like, I don't know. It just didn't seem to match up.
Yeah.
Typical wanting the bad guy to be good.
Exactly, yeah.
See him in a good light in the end.
It's pretty much like he was like an anti-hero like the whole time. Like he had these like good intentions, but like went about them like at the worst possible way.
Yeah, and like one of the things that I brought up in my video was where I was like, okay, so in Kingdom Hearts 1, Ansem basically becomes this giant evil ship thing with a mouth and explodes, and it's sick. In Kingdom Hearts 2, Xemnas gets absolutely smoked by Riku and Sora. They pierce him with a giant beam of light. Like that was awesome. But then in Kingdom Hearts 3, Xehanort's just he's like I'm about to die, but I could keep doing this. And then Ericus like Force Ghost. He's like, no, give up. And Xehanort's like, all right. Like that's literally how it ends. That's literally how it ends. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of cool, like in a way where we're like, oh wow, we're seeing Xehanort, this big bad evil guy, be really vulnerable. It's very cool. But like my problem with it is like, in Birth by Sleep, Ericus tried to like change his mind, and Xehanort's just like fuck you and shot darkness at him. Why did it work this time? Why was his mind so easy to change this time? Like, it's just one of those things where I was like,
the thing is that I feel like it was mostly because he knew he was defeated.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't really much he could do anymore anyway. But it also kind of seems like if given the opportunity, like, maybe he still would have done it. So, like, maybe he is kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
But
overall, the ending when it comes to, like, that stuff, like, especially, like, and I was going to say one of my favorite moments was when Ericus does come through and then, like, he says his goodbyes to Terra, Ventus, and Aqua. Dude, that broke me, too, because you guys know I love Birth by Sleep. I love all three of them. I love their entire story. I love how sad it is. It's great. But, like, like, that's just one of those things where I was like, dude, there are some things that just were tied together and ended so well. Like, that just was exactly what I wanted from the game. So I thought, like, even just throwing in, like, Ericus to, like, say goodbye to his students and stuff was just like, oh, fuck, kill me. Just kill me. It was so good.
Yeah, it was really good. So I think that we can only go forward from here talking about the ending, but really quick, I do want to backtrack because there's something that I have an issue with, a big issue with.
Yeah.
That I felt very bothered by.
Sure.
And it's a little bit further back. So the whole like everybody dying in the Keyblade graveyard, and then like just darkness expired or darkness prevailed, light expired, and it's just like everyone came back.
Oh
like,
yeah, the whole scene with Terranor, and then they go back in time like nothing happened.
Yeah,
that fucking scene was ridiculous. I completely agree with you.
The whole fact that just happened, I was like, you kind of just like cheated the Book of Prophecies, like
that's what I'm saying.
By like literally just by some bullshit that literally like they just brought into the game, like literally out of nowhere. They were like, hey, so there's this like purgatory thing called the final world when you're like not ready to die.
Yeah. So
we decided that you're not ready to die for it.
So here's this thing. All right, and I gotta bring it up, and I don't know how deep you guys are into Union Cross, but I'm pretty well educated on it. Like the most recent updates with it, one of the Dandelion leaders, Brain, he says he wants to change like the future. He wants to change the Book of Prophecies and like all that stuff. So that's all well said and done and stuff. Yeah, no, but like the thing is like, but that's the whole like thing where we were like, oh shit, like something's gonna go down. But in Kingdom Hearts 3, when Sora jumps through and everything's all like, you know, redone and everything, Ephemer's there. Like that's the guy that you guys see. I don't know if you guys knew who that was or whatever, but I knew who it was, and I freaked the fuck out because I thought that was sick. But like, if Brain's the one that was like, oh, I want to change the future, why was he not there? Why was it Ephemer? I think again, it just goes into the whole like Union Cross foreshadowing thing. That entire like the whole thing before it, how like they got a redo, and I thought that was fucking bullshit. How they all got bodied by Terranor, I thought that was fucking bullshit. Yeah. But like, that moment though, where Sora saw Ephemer and he's riding the keys like Vanitas, but like the keys of like light and stuff, and that music, dude, oh, that entire moment, oh my god,
that was a great way to integrate that too, I think. But honestly, I think it might, going back to the Union Cross thing, I think it might have something to do with Ephemer maybe like trying to stop him. Like I feel like the Dandelion leaders might end up fighting amongst themselves, and I think that might, you know, be a bit of an explanation towards why he's there instead.
Yeah, because we already know, because of like the ending and stuff, that the foretellers are obviously going to be the villains or the antagonists like in the series. So like, but I just want to know how like Dandelion leaders are incorporated, but I feel like that's definitely something that they need to explain in like a future game. That's fine. Or like even just through Union Cross in general, that's fine. But like I feel like that needs to be like an actual like console game. You know, like Union Cross, like it needs to get its, I think they need to shut this stupid game off because I'm over it. And they need to just like put it on a game, you know, like a disc.
I feel like if they're going to make a mobile game, like a gacha type game or any kind of game with any kind of pay to play access, they really should just make it a single game, like a console game, like you're saying. Because the thing is like no one really wants to sit there and grind for hours for, you know, a mobile game, you know, and have to, you know, where it's like you can pay to play or you can play for free, because most people aren't going to pay to play those kind of games, unfortunately. So the story is lost. And there's so much important things that happened. And to be 100% honest, half of this stuff I only realized because of hanging out with Peter and him explaining some of the Union Cross stuff to me in the past, where other than that, I would have been completely lost when it came to the Union Cross stuff.
Yeah,
you know, I watched Black Cover, but like, you know, I never played the games. Like, I downloaded Union Cross to get that damn Keyblade. That was it.
Yeah, I did this. Just a little funny thing. I did all those games and I got the code for the Keyblade. I completely forgot to do it, and then I got it like the real way, and I sat there and I was just like, wow, I can't believe I forgot to use my code. I went through 4 hours of grinding for no reason. But anyways.
I got the Keyblade, used it for like a minute, and I was like,
yeah. But basically,
yeah, I had the Keyblade.
Yeah, so when it comes to like Union Cross and stuff, like, I don't know, just some of the things were weird. They were kind of forced. Hey, play our stupid game. You know, like, what are those things? I don't know. Like, I love the Union Cross story. Like, I love everything that's going on in it, but I hate the game. So I feel like if they really want to make people pay attention to that shit, they have to stop with this game and they need to turn it into an actual game. They really need to. I think that if they just did Kingdom Hearts, you know, Union Cross, literally, it could just be called Union Cross, but like on the console. You playing through the game, like, you don't even have to be playing as like a Keyblade wielder. You could be playing as like Ephemer or someone. That would have been cool because he was sort of teased in back cover. He's teased throughout Union Cross. He's one of the Dandelion leaders. If you made a game where you're playing as Ephemer and you're learning more about Union Cross and how everything came to be in that universe and how it ties into the Xehanort saga and like where the series is going to go from there, like, that'll be perfect. I don't expect Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't. I expect a game where it goes off of something like that.
That would be really cool, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. The thing is I feel would have to rebrand it though, because I feel like people are gonna be like, oh, it's just that stupid phone game on the console. Like, I feel like they would have to retitle it because people might get like a misconception about it.
Exactly. So like,
I definitely agree with that, because everyone's gonna be like, oh, it's a free game, why would I pay for it? And they're gonna not play it anyway on the phone. So the story is unfortunately lost.
So they could call it like Kingdom Hearts, like the Book of Prophecies or something. You know, like,
that'd be perfect.
That'd be perfect. That'd be fine. You know, Kingdom Hearts Dandelions, something like that. You know.
Yeah.
Like anything, really, you know? So, like, stuff like that. No.
It's funny because there was something I really wanted to talk about, but I wasn't trying to bring it up. Is what do you guys think is going to be the next game in the Kingdom Hearts saga? Like, I feel like it's going to be Kingdom Hearts 4, just because they can't really start off a saga brand new in a spin-off, in my opinion.
I think it depends how they do it.
Because like I feel like because the whole thing started with Kingdom Hearts, and granted, Birth by Sleep, Union Cross all takes place in the timeline before Kingdom Hearts 1, but Kingdom Hearts 1 is what started the saga.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It started the story, and everything kind of. I feel like they really should have to do Kingdom Hearts 4 and then do spin-offs after that, just to kind of, because I feel like you have to have a numbered title be the start of a saga. I feel like it just kind of makes it flow better and makes it more. It makes more sense.
It's more marketable too if it's Kingdom Hearts 4 versus something else.
Yeah.
Also, too, let's be real, they're not gonna put Union Cross on fucking console.
No, they won't. I'm just saying, like, in a perfect world, that's what they have to do.
It's a good idea. No, I agree, because the story is so important. Like, I don't think anyone realized how important the Union Cross story would be in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yo, especially when we get to the secret reports, dude. I picked the fuck apart those reports, and Union Cross is 150% going to be like significant, and like people need to know about it. So that's why I'm saying your game is stupid. Cancel it and just put it on a console, because people will not understand what's going on, especially the little hints that was dropped throughout the game. Like, like the foretellers and shit. Like, I mean, back cover is easy to understand. Ephemer popping up, and like Strelitzia's star in the final world. Little things like that are huge. People don't get. 90% of the people who played this game don't know what that is. Didn't know any of that stuff, or what that meant, or what it means, or anything, Especially the secret reports. Like, you're going to read this like, what is this? I read it because I understood everything because I played Union Cross and I understand the story.
Of course. It's funny because I was actually, I saw a meme the other day where it said, like, it was like, oh, I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I'm ready for Kingdom Hearts 3. And it shows Aqua Taravan. It's like, wait, who are you? Yeah, I know Roxas, but who are you? It's like there's so many things that, like, come into the story, like, that if you don't know every single aspect of every single thing, like, there was so much stuff that if you missed any game of the series, you really did leave you like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Which I feel like it's a great way to be a closing to the saga.
Oh yeah, totally. So let me think. Okay, so basically we talked about the ending, pretty much everything. I liked the way everything ended. There's just a few things that, like, the Power of Waking needed more explanation, like all that good jazz.
Agreed.
So let's talk about my favorite part, the epilogue.
Oh boy.
Oh my god. Yo, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say the line, dude. That shit was fire. It was fire. Oh, I loved the epilogue so
It was
much.
so funny because when me and my boy were watching the epilogue together for the first time, and once we see Mushu with the box, and I'm like, as a joke, just to be a dick, I'm like, yo, it's Xigbar. It's gonna be Xigbar. He looks at me, it's like, you're stupid. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I thought that'd be the most ridiculous thing. Pulls the hood off, and Xigbar, I'm like, what? I was right.
Yeah. Dude, I flipped out. Like, I can't even begin to describe. Like, first of all, the whole Lushu, like, Xigbar thing, what were they thinking? That just was like, and again, it doesn't matter if it's Xigbar, and I said this in my video because I just made a video talking about the epilogue. It's the fact that it's someone that we knew, and the whole theory about how Xehanort's quote-unquote possessed or he was influenced, like, came to fruition. Like, that is dope. Like, and I like it. I don't care. I like it because it makes Union Cross more relevant. You know what I mean?
But what I kind of liked about it was, like, they were teasing the shit since, like, Birth by Sleep, like, with Braig and everything, like, him being obsessed with, like, getting a Keyblade and shit.
Yeah, like there's this whole thing where people are like, oh, it's just convenient. I'm like, yo, shut your fucking mouth. It's convenient because it makes sense. Like, that's, again, there's the difference between, like, like Mickey losing his shirt in 0.2. Like, that's just shoehorning in, like, convenient plot points. But this is something that, like, okay, you probably built this up and you thought about this and it makes sense. Like, even if you didn't, I can still, like, believe that, like, this was premeditated.
It's not too far-fetched. It was one of those things, like, once it came out, I wasn't like, wait, what? I was more of a, oh, shit, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, because it really did make sense.
A small part of me almost kind of wishes it was a different member, though.
Like, who would you have preferred?
Dude, honestly, see, the person that I would prefer is already probably like a Dandelion, because I would say, like, maybe like Marluxia.
Yeah.
Or something like that would be, like, really crazy. Or even, like, even Saïx.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's too much backstory in him for that to be relevant anyway.
Yeah. If you look at the secret reports, I like the way that it's built up with Saïx, but, like, I think, and again with Marluxia, since he's in Union Cross, I feel like it would just be sticky and it wouldn't make much sense. So, like, realistically, who's left? Like, I think Xigbar works perfectly because he's been, like, the number, Xigbar's been, like, the number 2 the entire time. He was the first person to bear Xehanort's heart before anybody else. So, like, Xigbar just was perfect. And a lot of people like Xigbar, you know, and I like Xigbar. He's cool as fuck. And, like,
he's great, you know, he's been there since, like, you know, he was in Birth by Sleep. Like, he's cool. Like, you know, he's, like, you know, he I feel like he could be like he has the kind of character that he could be the main antagonist on his own. And he, you know, the fact that once you know, everyone had their, like, you know, their dying scenes in the Keyblade graveyard, like after like the giant fights, like he was the only one you didn't see like disappear, like he jumped off. Like,
so that's why it was sort of like, and I pointed that out as in like we didn't even see him die. That kind of sucks. You know, it was for a reason, because this whole thing was his fucking plan. And once we get to the secret reports, we're gonna go in, boys. But
well, I think he did kind of die there, though, because I think that Luxu is his somebody form. But I don't know. I'm not certain about that because it's a little bit confusing. I don't know.
Well, I'll explain it to you because we're gonna talk about like Secret Reports isn't post-game content, but, like, I guess we could just throw it in since it has to do with the story. So, like, you know, once we're done talking about the secret ending, I'll talk about the Secret Reports because I know exactly what goes on in them and, like, what it all means and stuff. So, let's just move on to the secret ending then. No. Yeah, we forgot a couple things. We forgot a couple things about the epilogue.
Actually, can I say my crazy thing? Who I think the Master is, since it kind of has to deal with this.
Yeah, sure. Who?
So I think the Master is, drumroll please, Demyx.
What the fuck? Why?
Okay, let me explain because it actually makes sense. And
okay.
So I read a theory about this, and it makes sense because Demyx is the only one who we don't really know what's going on right now. Like, he's kind of in the organization. He's, you know, he has an eye on everything that's happening, but he's not really doing too much.
Right.
So if you ever watch Naruto, the same shit happened with Tobi and Obito.
Yeah, like, I was actually just thinking about that too.
Yeah, the Akatsuki is the fact that, you know, Obito was the leader, but he was pretending to be kind of like this worthless, like, just there, so he could kind of see what was happening. And then as soon as the shit got real, he's like, okay, by the way, I'm in charge. So it's kind of like and, like, you know, why there's really no reason to have Demyx a part of this game, like, to bring Demyx back. Like, he didn't do anything, we didn't fight him. So I felt like,
I mean, it's foreshadowed that, like, he has something to do with Union Cross. Like,
yeah, so it could be that.
It's kind of debunked because of the secret reports.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll get to that.
Please debunk it. As I talked to Peter before we started this, I fucking hate Demyx. Like, I don't know what it is about him. I hate him. So if he's like, when someone revealed he was Master and made sense, I was like, I hate this. It makes sense. I fully get it. I'm like, one, I don't want it to be an exact copy of Naruto because that's like literally like exactly what they did. But at the same time, like, I was like, fuck, it makes sense. But I just hate Demyx as a character. Like, maybe it's because his fight when I was younger, doing Kingdom Hearts 2 for the first time, really pissed me off. So I just always had a hatred for Demyx.
Yeah.
But I just
all right. I'm about to say something. Okay. So basically, I'm about to drop some fucking encyclopedias on you right now. Okay.
Shit. I have a headache, so please not that hard.
So the epilogue. The epilogue is a good time to bring up the secret reports because we talk about, like, Luxu and, like, all that stuff and the foretellers. So basically, what Luxu's role was, and this is all from the secret reports. This is not like implications or anything. This is all literally in there if you read them. Luxu's role from back cover was to see through the Keyblade War and to observe. Now, there's a second part of his role that we found out about through the secret reports was not only was he supposed to do that, but he was supposed to basically just, you know, observe, like, fulfill the Book of Prophecies, like, all that stuff. So eventually, like, you know, he was supposed to basically wait for someone to want to trigger the Keyblade War again. So once he found out about Xehanort, he basically, you know, and throughout all this time, his heart is jumping vessel to vessel. His first vessel isn't just Xigbar. It was, he went through, like, hundreds of years of just different people who he was just, like, keeping an eye on his Keyblade, you know, all that stuff, like, yada, yada, yada. So he takes a hold of Xigbar because when Xigbar wasn't possessed, he wanted to wield a Keyblade, and he knew that he'd be able to, you know, he's like, oh, this is the perfect guy for me to, you know, take over because he just wants the Keyblade. So it's a good way for me to keep an eye, one, on No Name because Master Xehanort had it at the time, and two, for him to basically just be like, oh, well, this stupid idiot wants to trigger another Keyblade War. This is perfect. So basically now here's a quick question before you go further. Yeah, sure.
So in Birth by Sleep, was that Briggs or was that Mushu?
It's unclear. So I think it was Luxu, because he still is the one that's like, oh, I want a Keyblade, and Master Xehanort's like promising what me on. So like it's heavily implied that like that is Luxu at the time. Like we don't know the real Xigbar technically, if you really want to think about it.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, because I wasn't sure, like, because he wasn't a nobody yet, so I wasn't sure if like maybe since that, like, you know, Xehanort starting to go after the Keyblade War is what made Mushu go after him, but like, you know, there was just.
Yeah, it's something like that. But anyways, so basically the second part of his role was to, again, like I said, wait for some dumb idiot like Xehanort to want to trigger another Keyblade War. So basically it's implied in the secret reports that when that does happen, then the return of the Foretellers and the Master of Masters will happen. So basically his entire plan was to basically wait for someone to trigger the Keyblade War, summon Kingdom Hearts, and then through Kingdom Hearts, something happens where, like, you know, that's why the Foretellers were able to come back and meet with him. And, you know, that's where the whole theory comes in, where, like, the box has to have the Master of Master's heart, because in order for Kingdom Hearts, in order to open up, there's something, or maybe it's not his heart, but there's something in the box that allows the Master of Masters to return. So he basically says in the reports, like, oh, like, I've been waiting for this moment, I've been waiting, and once it's all said and done, I'll be reunited with the other four, or the other five, because I think he, you know, the whole thing with Ava is like misconstrued or whatever. But then he also implies, and that he will return, and that's the Master of Masters. So that it implies that this was his plan all along. So Luxu being Xigbar and someone that we know makes sense, but for the Master of Masters to be someone else doesn't make sense, because that would mean that he's technically already returned. So what's the point of Luxu waiting and going throughout all these things and waiting for Kingdom Hearts to be summoned and all that stuff? Like, what's the point of that if it's already someone we know? Because then that means he's technically already back. So the Master of Masters, the Master of Masters he's no one we know. The Master of Masters cannot be anyone we know.
You see, another thing that kind of, you know, well, I don't want to, never mind. This talks about the secret ending, so I don't really want to hop into that. Just remind me so I don't forget.
Oh, yeah, no, we can. But one more thing I want to say about the epilogue before we move on to the secret ending is I thought that whole thing, like, where, you know, they're sitting, like, Eraqus and Xehanort are sitting there, they're finished the game of chess, and Eraqus is like, oh, I got a new game. Puts down the pieces of the Foretellers in black, and I was like, oh, shit. And then, like, he's like, okay, I got 7 black pieces, and then he's holding Sora's piece, and the way he says, just watch, and just slams the chess piece down, and it just cuts, was a cinematic masterpiece. Like, just... I almost said fire, but, like, you know, take a shot every time I say fire. It'll be a drinking game. But, like, you know, like, dude, that was beautifully put together and wrapped up. Like, it could have just ended there. We didn't even need a secret ending. Like, honestly, after that, I was like, I don't need to see no fucking secret ending. That was perfect. You know, between the reveal of Luxu and Xigbar and, like, the foreshadowing of the Foretellers, and then showing that Sora's, like, still in this shit against the Foretellers, and that's what the next arc is going to be. Like, that was just so awesome. It was hype. It was cool.
I'm excited to fight the Foretellers, you know?
Hell yeah, dude. For real. Like, so that was awesome. So the epilogue's pretty much wrapped up. That was my favorite. One of my favorite parts of the entire game was the epilogue.
You know what's great about that, too?
What?
Is that finally the main enemies are all going to actually be themselves instead of, like, just pawns of this guy.
Well, who knows? The Master of Masters might pull some fuck shit, but we don't know.
Yeah, you're completely right.
So, I don't know. But yeah, so secret ending. I liked it a lot, but it's a Kingdom Hearts secret ending, so naturally it's confusing.
It created more questions than it answered, obviously.
Yeah.
The only thing that I felt like it was really cool that it answered is it answered the fact that Sora's still alive. You know?
Yeah, well, he's quote-unquote alive.
Yeah, so he wakes up, so I'm assuming that maybe the power of waking kind of sent him, you know, when he failed, it just kind of sent him, sent him into another dimension where possibly, you know, he's in, you know, another world, and then Riku's going after him again, just like Dream Drop Distance, so...
Yeah, I think it's going to be sort of like a rehash of Dream Drop Distance where they're in 2 different realities of the same world, so, like... Basically, what the theory is, and I don't know, like, I could see it happening, but they just have to do it really well, is the theory is that Sora woke up in Shibuya, like, being from, like, The World Ends With You, and in that game, that's where people die, and they have a death counter, so basically they have to play the Reaper's game in order to get their lives back. So basically, people think that Sora died, and he's going to have to play the Reaper's game, and he's going to have to win to get his life back, but meanwhile...
So that's when he had the card.
Yeah, so like, you know, that's what the wild card thing might be. Nobody fucking knows what the hell that meant. But then, you know, Riku's there looking for him, and I think the purpose of Yuzuru being there is basically, honestly, to like tell the story of Final Fantasy Versus 13, which is the game that turned into Final Fantasy 15 after Nomura was kicked off the project. So that's why Yuzuru looks like Noctis and all the other characters look like other members of Final Fantasy 15. So, and I think the reason why he has the two different eye colors is because he's capable of seeing the two different realities. So that's why he's looking at Riku and Sora. That's why he's up on the building. Like, he could see Riku's reality with one eye and he could see Sora's reality with the other. That's why one's red for Sora and one's blue for Riku, you know, like, and they also just
That's
sort of,
interesting.
You know what I mean? So like, they're just going to, but the thing is, it's weird that like it was a video game in Toy Story and now it's like, if they didn't put that in Toy Story, I'd be like, yo, this is cool. But so like it's weird. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't know how they're gonna explain it. Maybe we're jumping around video games now, other Square Enix properties occasionally, who the fuck knows. But you know,
I feel like they shouldn't do that. Like, obviously I would like to see, you know, I feel like it was cool to kind of have, you know, The World Ends With You as being a big part of Dream Drop. But I feel like one of the biggest draws to Kingdom Hearts is the Disney properties.
100%. I would not be okay
so
with
I feel like, you
Disney.
know, there's a lot of rumor going around that they're going to stop doing Disney properties.
They will never do that.
They can't.
They will never do that.
You know, Disney's just as into this as Square is.
Yeah, no, they will never ever do that. I just think that, like, if anything, this might hint at like DLC or like a side game, you know, something like that. Like, I don't know. Again, I don't know.
That's true. We are supposed to get some crazy DLC from what
I mean,
what's been rumored.
I don't know like what they could do, but like an idea is like, instead of Disney worlds with Square Enix characters, it could be Square Enix worlds with Disney characters in them. That'd be a cool way to go about it, where you still have the Disney IPs, but I don't.
There's no way.
That's
Disney
a reach.
would
You know,
allow
that's 200% like a reach. You know, like they wouldn't do that, but you know, I don't know. But like I said, the secret ending was confusing as shit. It's a lot of speculating. Again, it goes back to the idea of like the power of waking wasn't properly explained, so we don't know for sure. But, you know, like I said, I thought the music was sick. I thought the entire presentation was cool. And the ending where the hooded figure, like, makes the heart around the moon is really cool. So
that's the Master Masters.
It's 100% the Master Masters, because he's returned. If you read the secret reports, you know he's coming back.
And you saw the thing where he made the shape of the box before he made the heart.
Exactly.
You know about that? Yeah.
Yep. I noticed that.
Here's the only thing that kind of weirds me out with Master Masters, as into the idea of him being someone we haven't met. Why would they hide his face so much if it wasn't someone we met?
I mean, they hide the foretellers' faces, and there's no fucking way they're anybody we know.
That's true, but they're also hidden by individual masks that we know who they are.
Yo, don't buy into that bullshit reincarnation theory, Dale. There's no way.
Yeah, Dale.
There's no way.
I don't know. I mean, I definitely think you're right, but I feel like there also is a chance.
I think if they do that, they are literally destroying the entire infrastructure of Kingdom Hearts. They have to do that so perfectly to where dude, like if there's this whole thing where like all the kids don't remember their pasts, you know, and like, you know, like Ava is Kairi and, you know, Riku is Ira and Sora is like the Master of Masters or some shit. That they have to do that to a T. To make it work.
I'm not saying anything like that, but like I think that, like, I don't know, maybe I don't know. Yeah. I feel like it could be somebody though.
Yeah, so basically they would just have to do that so perfectly for that type of shit to work. Like Ven and all that shit like is already too much.
If they bring back the same characters again too, I feel like that would, like, all right, like,
yeah, like, okay. Chill the fuck out. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm hyped for the future of Kingdom Hearts with the ending, the epilogue, and the secret ending all put together. That, like, it's just, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see how they tie in Union Cross and, like, you know, back cover and like all that shit. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. So I'm hyped on that.
I agree. I think the series has a really promising future.
For sure,
you know,
man.
Especially because there's so many things that have been brought. You know, there's so many different stories being brought together. There's so many doors that are still open, and so many doors that are still yet to be opened. That, you know, for the future, like, I think it's great that, you know, Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. One thing I was kind of worried about is that they were gonna leave us off with, like, you know, phenomenal ending, but like no real insurance that we're coming back.
Yeah, kind of like how the reason why I love Kingdom Hearts 2's ending is because like it tied it all together and then it teased it, you know. But like the thing with Kingdom Hearts 3 is like it didn't tie it all together and then it teased it more, and it's like, bro, come on, like stop. You know, same thing with Kingdom Hearts 1 though. I mean, you know, it just well, I guess Kingdom Hearts 1's sort of similar to Kingdom Hearts 3 in a way, where like Sora and Kairi got separated, and then it throws you into this fuck storm of like, okay, what's gonna happen now, like that type of thing. But Kingdom Hearts 2 tied it all together in a fucking pretty little box with a nice little pink bow on it, and then just like was like, all right, there's more, you know. So I don't know. I just, you know, I'm just excited, man. I'm excited. I can't wait. I thought the ending was fire. I thought the epilogue was fire, and I keep saying fire because it's the best way to say it. But and again, the secret ending was confusing as shit, but that's how they are. And if it wasn't confusing, then I wouldn't like it.
That's true. That's true. You know, the idea and the best part about the secret ending is like, look at Birth by Sleep. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 2's teasing Birth by Sleep. Like everyone thought this is Kingdom Hearts 3. We're going to the, you know, we're going to do the Keyblade War, and now, but like everyone's like so convinced now. Looking at it now, it's like everyone's like, okay, now it's obvious that was Birth by Sleep.
Yeah,
but I feel like that was like, it's like looking back, it's really
dude.
Cool.
In 5 years from now, we're gonna be like, wow, we were fucking stupid for not knowing what was going on. You know, we were wrong, man. So I don't know. That's how they like to deal with this shit. So story's fire. Yeah. I love Kingdom Hearts 3. It was great. Loved it.